Hey guys, it's Cole here. Welcome back to the garage. In today's video, we're going to be looking at the Bugatti Veyron 16.4. So as always, the instructions for today's model are available at the link in the description below at rebrickable.com. So obviously, the Bugatti Veyron 16.4, 1000 horsepower, all-wheel drive, W16 quad turbo, 253 miles per hour, crazy car, and this is my Lego version of it. And in today's video, we're just going to go over all the details of it and how I designed it. So in the front here, obviously, it's a bit more vertical than I'd like it to be. Obviously, the Veyron's more sloped in the front, the Chiron is more vertical in the front, although the lights are in the right position. In relation to the Veyron, they're in the center and they're slightly pointed outward, as opposed to the Chiron where they're basically flat and they're more positioned towards the side. We have these curved slopes here where typically there would be an intake on the real Veyron, although that would be kind of messy to try and represent that. Here we have the this bottom part. There isn't any prominent front splitter on the Veyron. This basically is just to fill in the bottom part of the bumper here. We have the Bugatti grille, which is obviously very recognizable. It's a very simple design. It's just using some quarter round tiles and the 1x2 tile down here. Up here we have this offset center slope like the real Veyron, where the center part kind of comes out more and goes over the grille. And weirdly enough, there's a gap under here where you can basically just take this front part off and fit a minifigure briefcase underneath, and then you can have a little front trunk, which is kind of weird. I didn't intend for it to do that, but hey, it actually has a function that I didn't design into it, which is kind of weird. Moving back here, we have the windshield, which is this Technic is from Bricks, Blocks, and MOCs, which most of you guys probably follow, but if you don't follow him, go check him out. There's a link in the description below. He builds a lot of awesome Lego supercars, and they're quite a bit more detailed than mine, so yeah, you guys go check him out. Basically, this design, it uses a lot of clip and bar pieces to position these bars as the A-pillars, just however you want, basically. It works very nicely here. You also notice the roof of this is very low, and that's because, well, to get this to scale with these slopes back here and the windshield here, the roof is at this level. I could make it higher, but that would look kind of weird, and so it doesn't fit minifigures. Although I'm planning on making a convertible version, which I think is called the Grand Sport in real life. I can't remember the exact name, which obviously will have no roof, and then minifigures can just, you know, their heads can be as tall as they want, and in theory, minifigure's head shouldn't go higher than the roof is now, so that should look pretty good, I think. We'll just put like some sort of bar between the top of these A-pillars, and that should form our convertible version. On the side here, we have this intake, which is formed by this arched brick here, and weirdly enough, this whole assembly is just 8 studs long, which actually worked out quite nicely, which is about, how many bricks is that? That's like 6 bricks and 2 plates long, exactly about. And then we have a tile down here to fill in the bottom, which maybe is a little bit low, but I think it looks quite nice. Inside here, we have the rest of the door panel and intake bit back here, and this is basically connected like this. That's kind of interesting, using the top of the turntable on the back there just to fit everything in that tight space back there. And you have that jumper down there, which you guys can see. That basically just connects, or actually it's not a jumper, it's a bracket. That basically just connects the door right there. Now there is interior detail here. It has a center console that's inspired by the Veyron. It looks mostly like the Veyron. Obviously, it's not perfect. There are jumper plates in there, so when we do build the Grand Sport version, you guys can just take your model and technically convert it to the Grand Sport version easily. Now, moving around to the back, you'll notice I am using a piece of paper as a turntable because it's handy and I don't have a turntable, so this is the next best thing. Moving around to the back, we have the standard stuff. I think the back actually came out better than the front, which weirdly enough seems to be the case with a lot of cars I build. I'm not entirely sure why. So as you can see, we have the 4 circular taillights and this center part where the Bugatti logo would normally be. These are just on hinge bricks, which angle them upward a little bit. We have these tiles here. There is no wing design at the moment, like for the active aerodynamics that would come up here. But I'm going to put a design in the instructions in the future, so if you guys buy the instructions, you will get the design when I come out with it. We have the rear area here, which would typically have 2 like intake cooling vents right here, but I've omitted those because it would look kind of messy if I tried to put those in there. Down here we have these panels, which kind of form the edges of the diffuser, but you can take those out if you want to make it look a little bit cleaner. You have this 1x1 brick, which is held in there backwards, and it looks really good to represent the single central exhaust pipe on the Veyron, although technically it's not a single exhaust pipe. One thing that's weird that I've only seen some few YouTube videos where a Veyron exhaust got replaced is that the actual Veyron exhaust has 3 outputs. There's 1 in the center and 2 underneath each diffuser. I'll link to that video down below if you guys would like to see what a Veyron exhaust looks like, because it's a pretty crazy looking thing. If we look at it just from the back, as you can see, we have this quarter round tile down here and this curved slope up here. It looks extremely wide, or as a Stradman would say, very girthy. And this looks like the real Veyron in the case where it's just so wide and so low. Obviously, this is not necessarily the widest model I've ever built, but it just has that same look to it where it looks like it'll just stick to the ground at whatever speed you're going at. It looks super stable, which it is. And so I'm very happy with how the rear end turned out. Next, moving up to the engine bay. Obviously, we have a little detailed engine in there, and technically you could remove that, although it's easier to just take a look at it while you're building it and then not bother to remove it, because it's a big process to try and take this thing apart and remove that engine. We have the intakes here, which are some of my favorite design parts of the Veyron. These massive intakes up on the top of the cart, so basically dual roof intakes, and those lead to the engine. Those are just formed with the 1x4 curved slope, and they look very nice, very simple assembly. I think they form the intakes very well. So that is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. There's a link down below to the instructions. Like I said, you can also go follow me on Instagram. There's a link down below for that, where I post updates on my models and post new models there first before I post them here on YouTube. So that is it for today, and I will see you guys next time.